And most importantly, how in the hell is this thing 2 hours and 52 minutes? This thing should have been an hour and 25 max. Okay, definitely cut it off before an hour and a half. What's up? Jim Alexander here with Real Talker, and today I am reviewing The Machine. Yeah, check it out below and we'll talk more about it.
7 years ago, one incredible story blew up the internet.
When I was 22, I got involved with the Russian mafia. I was a frat boy on a class trip.
This is Igor. He's here for your protection. He is very dangerous. You are not to talk to or hang out with him.
All I want to do is hang out with him.
I did not speak Russian.
Yeah, machine.
Okay, so The Machine. What the hell is this about? Okay, comedian Bert Kreischer is a stand-up comic, legitimate stand-up comic, very popular and famous. And he's also, actually, fun fact, he's the inspiration for Van Wilder, the film and the character. So he was, I think Rolling Stones named him one of the top partiers in the nation back in the day. And he, I think, 97. And Van Wilder was inspired for him. So he did stay, he exceeded his time at Florida State with his partying. And then Van Wilder was born based on his story. So he's done ton of stand-up, a lot of Netflix specials. So Bert Kreischer, check him out there. He's a pretty good stand-up guy. As an actor and a star of a film, that's another question that we're going to address right here. So apparently he's got a pretty fascinating life besides being the real life Van Wilder. He was part of a story that dabbed him to Machine. As a college student, he traveled to Russia on a school trip, and he got involved with the mafia there and robbed, allegedly, a train and pissed off a lot of people along the way. And this story in the film plays off of that, based on true events of his experience 20 years later. So this is in present modern time, and the mob is still out to get Bert, and he's named Bert, by the way, in the movie too. And this is the modern day 20 years later, and it sort of goes back in time also. Jimmy Tatro plays the younger Bert in the flashback. So we go back and see how he got involved, how he became the Machine, and why they call him that, because he's a crazy partier and drinker and could outdrink the Russians, which I guess is a feat in itself. But yeah, so he kind of makes a fictional story about 20 years, later. They're coming after him, and he's also trying to bond with his father, Albert, who is played by Mark Hamill. Interesting, kind of weird casting there too. So yeah, the movie goes back and forth in time. Did it interest me with it going back in time? No. I mean, the plot is there for something potentially interesting, but the execution just sucks all along the way. So I'm just going to go with that. Let's start off what this movie actually is. And it's just a mishmash. It's a shit show. It really is. It's constant. It's loud. It's obnoxious. It's crude. I mean, it's rated R. You get that. It's a comedy. But the thing is, it's not a funny comedy. I was in a theater and I heard zero laughs throughout. Now, I thought I was the only one that wasn't getting it or wasn't cracking up at these jokes. No one was at this theater. So it didn't only miss me, the comedy. It missed apparently everyone in this theater. It's just a kind of slapsticky, outrageous. It's gore-filled. It plays itself like a D-list horror movie with the gore and the bad effects and the heads being cut off and blown off, and blood squirting and squishing out of the empty head, the missing body the missing the body with the missing head. Yeah, you get the frame of reference here. It's just messy and nasty in that way. That's, I guess, a good contradiction here, is that the comedy's messy and bloody and just crappy all around. It just isn't funny. He tries too hard as an actor. I mean, he's okay. He's not horrible. He tries, I guess. He puts in a lot of energy there. Bert, good old Bert. But Mark Hamill, I don't understand why he took this role. He's done spoofy kind of offbeat things, but this just isn't it at all. Bad call by Mark. He was not featured well, or did not come off looking good. The material's bad. The script is bad. The lines are just awful, and the dialogue's corny and crappy. And that's my word, I guess, for this review. It just, nothing hits. And it's so obnoxious and over the top. And it tries to be so much more than it should be. If it was a little bit more subtle, and not as, it's a farce. It really is. And the funny thing is, like, okay, you can treat yourself as a farce and that could be entertaining, but initially it kind of tries to establish itself as a serious movie of sorts, you know, a more serious comedy about a son trying to reconnect with his father, and with his daughter, Bert trying to reconnect with his teenage daughter who hates him, basically. And there's some sentimentality that's being built, but it's completely destroyed, and it's unhinged, and it just goes off the rails after the first 20 some minutes of the film. And it's hard to get any sort of sentiment or investment emotionally into these characters or film. There's a character, Igor, who befriends the young Bert, who then they rediscover themselves, and he's like a farm villager. It went from a mobster to a villager. That's like, it's just ridiculous. I'm not gonna even go over this, because you get the idea here. The comedy misses, the acting is not good, and the story's just all over the place and just so out of control. It feels like a 12-year-old's mind created this film. It's just, yeah, it's just gross, sort of, the comedy here, and just not appealing in any way and about it. So definitely, we are not, you want to know scores and rankings, this is down below. I mean, the acting is okay, let's go with the rankings and scores here. You want to know the acting score? We'll give it a 1 out of 10. A 1 out of 10. It's anything more than that, it'd be, you're giving it too much credit here. And the thing was, too, also, I'll say this, you had actual Eastern European actors, Slavic actors, from former Yugoslavia, now, Serbian, Croatian, that sort of part of the world there. And why didn't they just use their natural voice? I mean, the Slavic and Russian thing, it's close enough. Their accents are so phony and fake and ridiculous. It just, let these actors use their native sort of accents, and it would have come off a lot better than trying to fake a Russian bad stereotypical accent there. So that's what also contributes to the 1 out of 10. Was it the plot and the story? It had some potential there, especially since it was based off allegedly his true experiences, but they just fumbled it. So I see what they're trying to do 20 years later, make it, another go around, basically, right? But yeah, that just missed. 3 out of 10 on that. Entertainment factor, I was not entertained at all. This movie, it's just not entertaining. It's 1 out of 10. And then creativity, like I said, there could have been creativity, but they just mishandled it too. So 2 out of 10, an impression it left on me, clearly not the best one. Another 2 out of 10. So we're talking about a movie that's a 20% range here. It's just bad. It just does not hit on any level. So there's The Machine, okay, for you. I'd skip the hell out of that one. It's not worth it. Maybe if you're having a drunken, like, smoking up or something, this would gloss over on the screen or something, and you can keep it on. But otherwise than that, this is a complete miss. One of the worst comedies of the year for sure. So that's The Machine for you. And a score of in the 20s. I haven't given that score out in a while, so this cannot be good. It's a waste of time. And most importantly, how in the hell is this thing 2 hours and 52 minutes? This thing should have been an hour and 25 max. Okay, definitely cut it off before an hour and a half. There's no reason why this is pushing 2 hours. And we have now some superhero movies. The upcoming Transformers movie and all is going to be at 2 hours, a few minutes longer than this. There's no reason this thing should be anywhere near 2 hours. It's an absolute joke that they managed to drag out that runtime and take away my and the moviegoers' precious time wasted away. So yeah, that's that for you. But more important things, how subscribe button actually makes a difference, and you get informed and notified of new reviews and to avoid movies like The Machine. Also, you can follow me on social media at The Real Talker and at The Jim Alexander on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all the big hubs for social media. And if you like this review, give me that thumbs up, like it. Not the film, just the review, if you appreciated that. And of course, comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this movie for any way, please let me know. I'm fascinated to hear why and what you could pick out of it. I will give it one thing about it, okay, that I actually enjoyed. Some of the nostalgia, late 90s, early 2000s music that's in here, the rock songs are pretty good. It's like alternative rock, some hits from the late 90s and early 2000s, actually good. It's just sad that it was used on this movie. But the rock music and the music in general, they used some good stuff there. So that was the only big positive about the movie. Otherwise, it's just a pile of junk that's had too many actually bad special effects, but even the use of special effects was not needed. So there's that. But comment, okay, distracted from that. Comment if you've seen it, if you share my sentiment, let me know too. I love to debate and banter, and I check out the comments too. So there's that for The Machine, and I'm out until next time.